Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is about how I got kicked out of preschool, expelled from a preschool. Yes. Now you're probably wondering, Austin, how the hell do you manage that? What could you possibly have done to manage getting expelled from preschool? Now, for anybody that doesn't know what preschool is, although I'm sure most of you do know, preschool is the school you go to before you go to kindergarten and then first grade, second, third, blah, blah, blah. It's basically a school where parents can, choose to send their kids to before the main school starts and get them socialized and, kind of like get an early start on schooling. It's not like some mandatory thing, at least where I was at the time, it wasn't. So my mom decided to send me there. It was up to her. She wanted me to get an early start on school, so she sent me to preschool. Now, from what I remember, preschool was literally just fun. Like, all it was arts and crafts, projects like that, and hanging out with my fellow friends in preschool. Now, I don't remember a ton of it. In this story time, I needed help from my mom. I had to call her up, and I was like, hey, fill me in on some of the details of how I got expelled from preschool when I was a kid. And she told me the whole story. Now, I remember some of it. There's parts of it that I vividly remember just because I disappointed a couple people at my preschool. And yeah, I'm going to tell you about it today. I got expelled from a preschool. Baby Luna. So from what I think I remember, the story time started off as a pretty normal day. My mom woke me up, made me breakfast, got me ready for my day. And the funny thing about me as a kid is my mom would try and dress me in like normal children's clothing, and I refused it every time. I always wanted to wear suits, like tuxedos and like plaid striped suits. I always wanted to wear a two-piece suit every day to preschool. Like, I refused any normal clothing. I wanted to be like just like the fanciest fucking kid in that whole preschool, okay? So yeah, my mom picked out my suit for the day. I got dressed, I styled my hair, I was looking good. Preschooler Luna was, ready to go in and impress everybody with his arts and crafts projects and, all that shit. But right before it was time to go, I had to go in my room and grab my backpack. So I run into my bedroom, I grab my backpack, and as I'm on my way out, I take a quick look at my door because there was a bunch of drawings all over my door. So here's a little bit of backstory for y'all about my house, okay? My mom let me and my brothers draw all over our front doors, like for our bedrooms. So we would just draw on each other's doors all the time. And one of my older brothers was the biggest troll I know, okay? Like, this dude would always draw like just terrible shit on my front door because he thought it looked funny. Like, putting funny, just bad drawings on my door looked funny to him because I was a little kid and it looked like I drew it. So he would do it and then make my mom mad. So just to give you an idea of what he drew on my door, he drew multiple wieners, he drew a pot leaf on my front door, he drew a bunch of other things that I can't even remember, just tons of things. And every single time my mom would yell at him and tell him to stop and like ground him and shit, but he would not listen. He would just continue doing it because in his eyes it was the funniest thing in the world because it looked like I drew it. But I didn't really care. I was just a kid, I was just living my kid life. But I didn't really care because I had no idea what they meant. Like, as a little kid, I would just look at them and smile and move on because all I knew is that they were funny to older people, even though I had no idea what they meant. So yeah, after grabbing my backpack on the way out of my room, I caught a glimpse of my door. I looked at the pot leaf on it and just kind of like smirked and just walked out. And yeah, I walk out of my room, I go down the hallway, I go to the front door, I tell my mom that I'm ready. She comes out of the kitchen, she walks up to the front door, opens it for me, we walk to her car together, we get in her car, she drives me to preschool, she drops me off, I get all like checked in and stuff, I sit down on my little table with my friends, and we're just kind of sitting there waiting to be told what to do, and finally the day starts and the teacher comes out, and she's like, hey guys, so today we're working on a little art project. I want you guys to paint a picture of anything that makes you happy, as long as it's appropriate, and something that makes you smile every day. So I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, like I could like paint, my family, or like my dog, or like, hey, what about that leaf on my front door? Like, that always makes people laugh, and I laugh at it because it's supposed to be funny, so I'm going to paint that. And I wasted no time. I immediately start gathering materials and start painting away and just making this literal pot leaf on a piece of paper out of green and brown paint. And I was just like so inspired. I was like, yeah, this is going to be so funny. Like, everybody that's adults laugh at this. Like, my teachers will see it and they'll laugh, and then I'll laugh and everyone will laugh and it'll be like awesome. But little did I know I was drawing a pot leaf. I just thought it was a normal leaf that made people laugh. That's all I thought. So yeah, I just paint this pot leaf, and I put a nice green background behind it, and I paint a stick figure, which was supposed to be me, pointing at it and saying, ha ha. And I finish it, and I immediately run up to the front desk, and I'm like, hey, like, here it is. This makes me smile every day. And the lady's like, Austin, what is this? And I'm like, what's wrong? And she gets up and immediately walks over to another teacher and shows her my painting. And the other teacher puts her hands over her mouth in shock. Like, she just saw the worst thing in the world ever. And I'm just so confused. I'm just, a little kid just sitting there like thinking I did something good, but apparently it was wrong. And the teacher comes back to me, the one that I showed the painting to, and she's like, hey, Austin, come with me to the back for a little bit. And she walks me over to the back room and picks up the phone and starts calling my mom. And my mom answers the phone, and she goes on to say that Austin painted a really bad picture today in class that would be very, very inappropriate for other children to see, and that photos like that are not allowed in the classroom or anywhere near it, and that it would be extremely bad for kids to see that because it could be a bad influence on them. And she just explains all these things to my mom about how I painted something bad, basically. She then ends the call by asking my mom to come in and take a look at what I painted, and then take me back home because I would be done for the day now. So yeah, my mom comes in 10 minutes later because we only lived right down the street, and she shows my mom the painting of what I painted, and my mom was just in shock, but also not surprised at the same time because she knew where I saw that photo from. She knew. So my mom basically explains to this preschool teacher that I was not painting that out of like a bad intention, and I saw that on my door because my brother is just a giant troll. She didn't say troll, but she called him a prankster, and said that he draws things on my door sometimes that are inappropriate, and he just keeps doing it no matter how much she grounds him. And the teacher just didn't care whatsoever. She was like, look, I understand he doesn't know any better, but still, regardless of how he saw these images, painting them for the whole class to see could be a really bad influence on everybody else. And then yeah, after that, she requests that my mom takes me home, and that she'll talk to us over the weekend and see about what's going to happen next week. So yeah, I got taken home. The day ended early for me. I was kind of stoked about it, to be honest. I had no idea what I did wrong, but I was stoked on it that I was going home early. And I knew that I would have the weekend to just enjoy my life. And then on Monday, I would go back to school and just kind of go back to hanging out with my friends and stuff like that. So yeah, fast forward to Sunday, okay? The day before school started again, my mom gets a call on her cell phone from the school, the head of the preschool, and basically tells her that I was being a bad influence on kids, and even though it was entirely accidental, they can't take a chance of me being there any longer and having something like this happen again because they're one of the most prestigious preschools in the whole area. And that was true, by the way. This was like the fucking Harvard of preschools, okay? So yeah, they basically kicked me out of that preschool because I painted a pot leaf, and they told my mom not to worry, that they would point her in some good directions of other awesome preschools I can go to. And yeah, my mom had to find a new one for me to go to. And she did. She found it pretty quick. I actually got in with the next class like 2 weeks later. And I can't lie, it was kind of nice. I took a nice little 2-week break from arts and crafts and preschool stuff and just kind of laid around the house and relaxed. And that was pretty much it. I got expelled from a really nice preschool in my area because I had no idea what a pot leaf was, but I painted it thinking it would be funny, and I got in trouble. And yeah, you best believe my mom was pissed at my brother. She yelled at him. She was like, why would you do that? Stop drawing shit on Austin's door. Like, he got expelled from preschool today because of you. And my brother's like, oh, I had no idea. I just thought it was funny. He just didn't care. But yeah, guys, moral of the story is if you're a preschooler watching this and you understand what I'm saying, don't paint bad things. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it funny. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Like, what's up? They leave me out for the dead, and now they know they're fucked. All my